it's great fun. I don't know what to tell you guys. But what is important to take away from that is that, of course, we broke the rules. We do apologize to everybody out there. But it does go without absolute saying that Martin is 100% the messiest and slightly useless when it comes to tidying up anything around him. Is that fair to say? So...
If you knew what it looked like down here, oh
that's
my
not
God.
just me though.
It's like Milky Way wrappers.
That's you.
Crisps,
I never eat Milky Way.
Bottles, half drank, by the way.
We asked for a trash can. We haven't got a trash can, so now this under the table is the trash can.
It's derelict, is the way to describe it. Anyway, one final game coming your way.
I want to ask you guys though.
Okay.
How can you say that you're not the worst driver?
Right. He's infamously the worst driver in PUBG. And then he's like, oh yeah, it's me. Yeah, I'm the best. That was my impression of Froz.
Froz, I've died with you in a car many more times than I can count on 2 hands and 2 fingers.
Two hands and 2 fingers. So 12.
Yes. More than 12.
That's not even a lot.
It's true.
You could have said anything
times
else.
we hit a tree and then there's like the comment from Froz like, oh, there's a tree there. It's like, yeah, there's hundreds of trees.
No one has any evidence about this, so we'll just put that aside until someone shows some evidence.
Anecdotal evidence.
Let's look at the standings instead.
All right, okay. 16 teams available to us as Na'Vi is still way towards the top. Actually, almost a 30-point lead up there at the moment.
Look in the bottom right now. Ooh. Vitality actually got to 14th place and pushed Reciprocity down to 15th right now.
That's actually big.
And ENCE is less than 20 points behind CrowCrowd now. Wow.
The difference
but M19 is only 2 points behind. And Vitality, if they keep on playing this good,
yeah,
they're going to catch up to ENCE even.
What's important as well is when we look at 5th through 6th, that is one of the bigger leads we have seen so far in that location for the past, say, 3 weeks or so. 31 points between them now. Razor Edge has not been having that good a week to start things off to try and even up that gap.
No, Razor Edge, they've had 27 points this week so far, and it's just not good enough if you want to contest with that. TSM is sitting in 4th currently with 47, so 20 more points for this week only. Vitality, though, they're having a monster of a week. 70 points so far with 5 more games to go. That's actually insane that they could break the 100 points and definitely be putting themselves out of the relegation. So if they continue this massive week they've had so far.
It's got to be a huge confidence
You also
boost.
got to consider the most points Vitality have had in a week before this is 58.
Right. Oh,
Twice.
Wow. Oof.
They're already broken that one by far. And we still have 5 games to go for this weekend.
Yeah.
It's a big change. Very big change for them. So, of course, with that win there, let's see if they can continue on with that. But for me, for everything that is in my mind, I just want an M19 win. That's all I want from game number 18.
I would love to see an M19 as well.
I want a northern circle, I want it to finish in Junkyard, and I want them to be able to take that compound that they always take when they're up there, just kind of southeast of Severny. You know what I mean.
You go for all that, okay?
It's very specific.
I'm still going to stick with it. I want to see Razor Edge.
The worst area of the map.
To play the final circles, yeah, it's pretty brutal.
I want to see Razor Edge get a win here.
Yeah.
I want to see them step it back up because...
A 22-kill chicken dinner to catch up with TSM in 1 game?
They don't need to catch all the way back. But
and then break the record.
If they can make the gap a little bit less for tomorrow, it's going to be good. They need to bounce back, and now is the time to do it, if any time.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, we have so many interesting things here, obviously. But I would like to see everything be as close as it is right now. Just a little bit, maybe a little bit closer when we go into the last week. So everything is to be played for still in the last week. And as Frost said here yesterday, everything is setting up for last week and this week. That's why this is so important. That's why we're seeing so many teams perform. We currently have a team that has struggled for the whole phase.
Yeah.
And now they're showing up massively with 2 wins and 2 third places in just 7 games.
And again, for everyone to understand where the big borders are, of course, before we go into our final game, first place is obviously very important. You want to become a champion. Yeah. There are still people that could potentially contend for that. Top 5 is very important. You want to be going to GLL. Top 8 is very important. You want to be in the money. And then, of course, you want to avoid relegation down towards the bottom. So those are where the big changes can potentially occur for all of these teams in PEL Phase 2.
So basically, every team has something to play for right now.
There is still every team having something very important to play for when it comes to here live in Berlin. And here is Unity at the moment. Dead last, I think now. 16th place currently, correct me if I'm wrong. And they're... how far are they behind?
16 points behind Reciprocity.
Right, okay, so it's going to be very difficult for them to catch up, so almost certainly going to relegation.
Yeah, 30 points behind ENCE.
I mean, you also get
to avoid relegation.
You also got to look at, if you look at the bottom teams for this weekend, which is them stepping up, Unity is the one who hasn't done it yet.
An anomaly for them, though, is Orange Snow, of course, as he's been able to really step it up. When we look at these numbers and you see the kind of overall state of them, Orange in general has been phenomenal.
Orange Snow has been playing extremely well in this phase so far, and considering that he's got 89 points and they're currently sitting in last, like I'm just imagine if they're sitting in the middle, or he was playing like with one of the top 5 teams. Imagine how much damage he would have been able to do. Imagine how much more time alive he would have been able to have.
I've known Americans, flip-flop in their situations, positions, thoughts and everything like that.
Right.
But Dave is behind another team.
I don't know what's going on.
Now he's behind M19. What's going on? What's this? And of course, we'll take a closer look at FaZe as a whole. FaZe actually leads when it comes to most kills for his team. But Uber breaking the 100-kill club himself. But the damage from Uber in relation to his other members. And this is that. Well, the line between genius and insanity. When you let him go, he can be a genius, but sometimes it looks like insanity.
So I talked with Larson a little bit before the games today.
Yeah.
And he said to me that, all right, we're doing pretty decent right now, but in the start of the phase, we actually did pretty bad. People were playing it pretty random and spread out and stuff.
Sure.
Now we're playing more together as a team, and it's showing result. Even though we're not getting that #1 spot, we're still playing it solid. We're getting solid points all the time.
They're going to Sweden.
Yeah, to GLL. Yeah,
but it's also good to see the improvements of the team, and with the help of Larson as an analyst for him as well.
So much so that I think that they improved on Miramar after you're teasing and not doing as well on Erangel.
Well, I remember to this day, I will remember forever the day that they decided to win 2 games on Miramar, 1 game, and throw the rest of the day just to make a point that Miramar is also a strong map for them.
Well, if you look at it, they have 7 wins on Erangel, 3 wins on Miramar. Will we get an 8th one on Erangel now?
We'll find out. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time for the final game of the day. Game number 80. After this, we have only 16 more games remaining to find out where all those shifts could potentially occur here in the overall standings for our top 16 in Europe. It's time to head over to Pansy and Sims for all of the PUBG action.
Thank you. It is time for the final game of the day. And I am hungry for a chicken dinner. I really am. I actually just need dinner, if I'm honest. I'm just starving. I was thinking Korean. Richard doesn't want Korean. We're working it out. We're trying to do our best here. It's rough out here. We'll see what we come up with, but we need to see who comes up with the chicken dinner in this game in front of us. Who's able to pull it through? Because there's so many potential options.
Vitality and Reciprocity now. Just 10 points behind ENCE and out of the red dead zone. That's scary. M19 have slipped a little bit. Rank 351, that's certainly a stone's throw from ENCE's 365. And while all this is going on, currently across all of the games that we've had so far, and this is not good, boys, I'm going to put it out there. We are into round 8, and so far this week, CrowCrowd have gathered 16 points. And that's it. They are slipping, slowly but surely. ENCE is creeping up the leaderboards and they are falling down. Anyone else that gives another opportunity, M19, Vitality, even Reciprocity. I mean, to be fair, even Unity, if they buck up their ideas, they are dead last, unfortunately. If they pull it out the bag and get something done.
Oh, no.
That's still Vitality, just continuing onwards. It's a good start. I know it's only 1 kill, but it's another point in the bag.
It is a kill. That's the thing, right? It's early points. Natus is out there with a nade. He's like, please, let me get this. Let me get it. Let me get it. Now they're ready to steal. He's up for it. And, oop. Terrible throw.
Wow.
But 6 mo's going to bleed out. He got knocked by them anyway. He's fine. It'll happen no matter what. I don't think anyone can steal that, deny it, or do anything to it. Bit of a shame for DA to lose down a player this early, but it is a risky run being in this area if you're trying to vie for cars. There it is. Jazz is going to get that point. And a good beginning, but a nice northern circle. Zarki's in it, boys.
Not for long.
Shut up.
Just
How
for
dare
now.
you. How dare.
Imagine if this goes for a Western hardship. Good lord. He just stuck them between Zaki and Georgia Paul.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
George Bay just in the middle of it all.
Delicious.
Interesting. DA is up there, but they are down a man, unfortunately, so Beautiful Death and Ira will be able to regroup and take the hills just above Roshawk. Those little compounds, the priority ones are the level 3s. CrowCrowd, nice position for them. You get the choice early of where they want to go, shooting range backside of it, but then you're fighting a very uphill battle. It's open ground as well, so maybe you come further forward, take the crashed airplane. You could be looking towards the coastline if you think it's going to hard shift that way. There's always a possibility. ENCE, it's their stomping ground also. They can come in from the eastern side, take a look at the dirt track main road that leads from there. Squeaky actually likes to loot it.
Yep.
That plateau area, there's a couple of compounds up from there. The issue with this area, that tends to be kind of like the last match previous, but polar opposite end of the map. You get all these just single compounds in the middle of nowhere, and you're just playing for ditches. You're playing off the back of what you can build with a vehicle, what you can put together, what you can scrape the bottom of the barrel from. Set's already going early from CrowCrowd again, been up there. Try and get a foothold on a decent piece of land, but needs to be careful because Mert's already repositioned. VOD, this will be spicy. I can see on the map VOD's in the cubes, and a Beautiful Death's driving that way. If he drives past that and he has an eye line on them, nope, he's been clever. I can see him now. He just turned,
got the hell out of there, didn't he?
Which is what you would expect from a pro player rather than driving past priority compounds. You know where players are going to be lingering in the distance. You know what's ahead of you. Reciprocity, bit of work to do to get up to the circle. Navi won't be a problem. It never is.
They always seem fine, don't they? It's kind of, it's
They
not,
never
I don't want
bother
to say
anybody.
weird, but they just play circle really well.
Every single circle that's been on Millie, Navi could have killed Liquid and they've never bothered to do it.
Yeah, they just seem like they got their own plan in mind and they play to it. We haven't seen the beast of Navi since the opening couple of weeks. They're still putting up numbers. They're still pushing well into those
Giving everyone else a chance, Lauren. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, they've what I mean. They're not being the headliners they were at the start of this. I don't feel. G2 have kind of taken that from them, but for a brand new roster, from the start of this season coming together, really proves what they can do. I think. We'll see how it kind of bodes for them when we get towards the end of this season, when we start looking towards GLL, when that becomes a big factor on the horizon. At the moment, though, we are starting to see those teams leaving Severny. We're seeing Vitality on the way. We're seeing Liquid starting to move their butts. So all to probably get to the north side of this, I feel as though a lot of teams are going to bank on it being right around where DA currently reside. Put the placement on that hillside. It looks like Wanderer might be getting a little bit of attention from NBS and NIP. Again, though, these teams may not commit to these compounds. They may just drive past, try and scout it out.
Liquid and FaZe are kind of in that Navi area where they've all quietened down and they're just playing the usual game. Being consistent, average placements over and over again. Across the week so far, Liquid 6-2, 4-2, 4-4, 8 so far. This is their lowest average placing week thus far, but there is a day left. FaZe 4-1-9, 4-5-6-2. 9th being their lowest placement so far in 7 weeks, so that's a good job. All these teams, to be fair, this is actually out of the, looking across the board, out of the top 4 teams, this is the first time, and again, still a day to spare, but Navi's currently averaging 11th. That's the first time any of these teams have actually been out of the top 10. If they finish down there, that'd be the biggest double-digit figure, but still. Can all change tomorrow.
Oh, that's a bit of a problem for Australia. He's quite low there, actually, that SLR. If only that tag came in, he would have been in a lot of danger. Trying to get out of the vehicle.
Exposed to Nasus there?
I don't think so. That looked like a big old headshot that hit him, didn't it? Oh. I think he should be okay. I think the trees keep him safe for now. Just purely the distance alone is pretty substantial. There goes everyone. Now he's been exposed by both sides. He needs to get out of there. He actually might be dead in the water if he doesn't make it away soon. Yeah, there he goes. Fast rail pinched. Kind of left in a bad spot. Seemed to not be sure what he wanted to do with that after a while. He kind of just got caught in that one, so he will be bleeding out. And we've got to look at the Knights. ENCE have gone for a very northern swing, but they've got themselves in a nice little position to work from just north of shooting range. That'd be not bad for them at all.
MBS does have a foothold here. All of NIP are now just trudging across the map to try and revive him. Bit of a distance to get
He's
across.
dead, surely.
No, they're actually there.
Gaxy's going for it, but
Yeah, they're here. I think that's an insta-res because CrowCrowd haven't pushed on it. They don't need to. Fast rail does finally get confirmed by Jazza, so 2 points to Vitality. Still going strong. This is nice from Vitality. I'm sure the French supporters at home will be very happy for that roster. Navi on the maneuver. Rec just behind them. Scoom out in the blue to the southwesternly kind of direction. FaZe their usual transition when it's this kind of circle. They'll take that east coastal side and then scout just below Stalbo, coming on the plateau area. Need to be aware that teams will be here, ready to receive them. That team being Raise Your Reg. ENCE, it's a weird one. It's not as deep as what you'd kind of expect the aggressive team to do, but again, changes have happened so far in Phase 2 for this roster, and they'll be playing it much safer. Causes the Knights some problems, as we can see on screen. They're forced to be bottlenecked up against the coastline. And then all the way down. You know what? If this, it would be wild, but if this hard shifts south all the way down, if it just like plums itself in between on the line of Pachinki and Gatka, this will be so many teams just dying because you will lock down the bridges and build the barricades.
that's a good pickup for Reciprocity. Senya trailing behind does go down. Now, we know that Na'Vi can operate with 3, but that's a big loss. That's something you probably didn't expect. And, you know, you look at Shiv and Rafi, they're a million miles away. They're right down, just leaving, you know, sort of Prima area. So they aren't even looting there, but they're down that way. We'll see where the circle goes. This could be very punishing to those teams in the south if it heads up that way. So good read from all the teams in the north.
Oh, Severny fight, imagine. Severny circle.
Feels unlikely. I feel like Liquid and Vitality have got a really good position. I think Liquid are going to try and send it in towards shooting range. ENCE can kind of consolidate themselves in those really nice compounds just towards the west of Severny. Empty. It's got moves.
They'll probably take the front side of this unless they decide to go for the bunkers. You never really want to take the back side of, unless it's going that way, of the shooting range, just for the simple fact that this is your better coverage and your better leverage if you want to try and tackle anybody.
ENCE doing the same thing. Hold on. ENCE is sending it in there as well. So we're going to see a bit of a battle here for
Same
shooting
area.
range. It looks like it. I know Winstrike are on the move next to NIP, but I'm pretty sure we're about to see Mikas and Rustamar committing towards shooting range. I think that's what I saw. They might have had to have moved out of the way, maybe take the hillside just to the west of it. But I'm not sure. No, they are there. Rustamar is very close by. Mikas has backed off from this. They've had to leave a man behind.
Disengage from it. Rustamar could be a dead man. That grenade is trickling, and he is gone. Has to give it up. Opts to move out to give them an easy kill. That's fair
look
play.
at that western
NIP
side.
trying to find a home. Same for Winstrike as well. Squeaky and the rest of ENCE, they've locked that compound down. There is a hillside there, but unfortunately the Knights will take full control of it. Liquid, they wipe out the one player. They force back ENCE. They keep shooting range to themselves. Now B still got to make an entry point onto this western side of the circle. Reciprocity all the way down south playing the blue. This is dangerous, but certainly when they arrive, everybody will have moved away from the edge. FaZe Clan, they've also ducked in Severny alongside Raise Your Edge. If we look on the eastern embankment, Unity, TSM, Vitality, same lockdown position now. G2 just touching the side of DA.
Yeah, and while we saw the man healing, the nade found Nookie. So Winstrike's starting to lose out on players. TSM definitely spreading out Unity in those houses. Not subtle for the CIS side. Maybe looking to Severny as the next option. May just pull up on the hill to the east of it. You can see the Molotovs, everything being put down here. Winstrike are under pressure. Jorski getting tagged up from afar as well. He's got Jeems waiting on the jump off. And I think there's CrowCrowd in the distance laying down those shots towards him. So Jorski might have to consider his options soon and might get pinned into those underground bunkers.
I personally like to see him just run it and get indoors. There's no point in trying to challenge for these points. Now those bullets are coming in, you won't expect him to know where they're coming from as well with the silence of the sound drop off. He'll have some sort of information because of where the bullets are hitting the back of the, or at least the back side of the bunker. So he'll have a guesstimation of a direction. It certainly will make it much harder. God Compound, you ever get that one in Publix and you get the circle hit there, it's fantastic. Level 3 building right next to a little Harry Potter tower. Nobody can touch you.
D-Mash with the Vector. Didn't he have the Vector before?
He did, and again, been rechambered. It's
Look, if you've got the extended mag on it and geared up, it ain't bad at all. It can absolutely shred people. But the problem is now he's got a challenge. Now he's got to step up to the plate and he gets turned on. Big slap back from Pokemoldoy. And it looks like Na'Vi, even though turned up here, it will be turned back. There is a trade down. That could be confirmed. Elite player did that well enough with bullets left. So he might be able to get that one started. Wanderer trying to pull himself in towards the rest of the team here.
CIS boys playing the cliff face. It's rather unfortunate. They've kind of broken each other. Oh, wait. NIP are here. NIP are just rocking up late game. There's nowhere else for them to go. So again, they are bottlenecked and funneled into this engagement. Circle's not there. You have to survive this transition to make it down to the beach. Wanderer right now, they hold the key position inside the circle.
Is it worth them 2-2ing this, NIP? Why don't they back towards Gaxi and Vard here?
As you say that.
Away we go.
Nope, don't want any chance of this. Wanderer giving as much information as he can before he goes down. That's fair play. Just crawling across, we'll call them out and give away the game. But still M19 don't have to fall. Actually, am I talking... Was he a fresh kill then? Surely not. Unless you just run into him, maybe you did, and not known he were there, and I'm just talking rubbish. I thought he were down before, but if not...
Where are Razor Edge going? They're okay for now. Where have they scouted? What is their plan? They've been there the whole time. Yes, Saverni's pressured. They've got FaZe and Unity there. I don't know what they've seen that they want to get to.
Don't go shooting range. You're just asking to die. You know there's going to be teams there.
What are you up to? Is there a position they've seen? Okay, Na'Vi is still being challenged by M19. They're just kind of, you know, butchering each other. They're fighting for shooting range at this point?
It's a bold move.
Okay, let's see what you got, boys. You got everyone's attention. Now let's stand up and deliver.
Oh.
Nade from Chris is good. Gemty, can you do anything about this?
Hey,
Another
Winstrike
nade?
are coming out. Winstrike have heard this. They're coming out from the bunkers.
Oh, this could be a pinch. This could be Team Liquid in trouble here.
That may have been the call. It's paused for a second. Timmy's just basically took a bullet to the brain from one to the distance. But Nade God does take the off angle here. Samty also gets the call. And rain from above. Hell is on way. You've poked the bear. You might be getting the claws here, boys. You've got to fight for this one.
Yeah, but here comes Winstrike. Rich, it's not over yet. Winstrike have just crested in towards the shooting range. James and Samty need to get this done. They need to get rid of Razor Edge so they can help out their teammates. Menox should be dead here. There's the nade to confirm it, but there's still 3 more players standing in their way of clearing this out. James on the push. He didn't see 60. Now he does. Puts him down. Needs to turn around and look for another options. Where's the next bit of pressure coming in? Chris went down as well. It's Razor Edge swept aside. That's good. Now they need to fall back and deal with Winstrike, who took the opportunity while it was there. Somebody just got a headshot from CrowCrowd.
Oh.
He needs to hit the deck and hit that prone and get that heal off real fast.
It's a strong play. The Erangel will have to go back and ask himself what that one was all about. Yes, it's deeper inside the circle, but you absolutely know there's teams there. Winstrike did want to try and make something happen. They poked out for a second, but wanted. Just slammed them with the M24 and put them back in the hole. Na'Vi, or at least what's left of Na'Vi, is trying to make a play for the compound. Probably doesn't realize there is another NIP player there. I think this will be Na'Vi's last run. Unfortunately, bye-bye, boys. 15th place, last game of the day. Job done. Nip. Circle kind of comes their way. Currently, the crash plane, that's where the circle's going towards. Everyone now in shooting range will move towards that back wall and hope and pray that it comes their way, because if it doesn't, you have a very, very large-scale exposed area to run.
What scares me is all these teams, I don't know how good their vehicles are going to be. You can already see G2 on foot. I know Winstrike have a bike in the underground bunker, but the Knights are going to be okay because they've been in the compound. ENCE should be okay. I don't know about Reciprocity. I don't know about the others. And this eastern side is going to be horrible to run. It's very open. It's very visible, especially leaving Saverni, you know, where Vitality are, where TSM are. It's all very, very visible.
I think a lot of these teams will play emergency and go towards shooting range just because of the bit of cover that you can get off the back of it. You can't get to the north. You've called it perfectly. TSM, Vitality, they block off east. Reciprocity, ENCE, NIP, they're covering off the north. What do? You dive on in head first towards shooting range and hope no one else can see you behind the broken wall.
Let's have a look what FaZe decide. They have the option of swinging further north, but they've heard those shots consistently. They know that there's been players up there, teams up there, but you've maybe hoping they've already moved. M19 has gone down in 14th. And it looks like FaZe have opted for that northern route, so they're going along coast side. They could actually steal Haxetti here as well.
They're going to run over.
It might be. There he goes.
Hicks FaZe player getting run over by FaZe.
Feels good. And ENCE keeps going, so they need to keep sending this one around. Maybe feeling that western side might be easier for entry, but ENCE is still there.
Those two players going down has just been so pivotal for FaZe to be able to make this run. Another run over.
Oh no, Mikas, no!
Doot.
Give him a beat, FaZe. Go on. No, just business.
Drive by! Oh!
All right, FaZe, I questioned your rotation. My bad, you're fine.
He hung out the car and did him. Yes! 2 runovers and a drive-by.
Feels FaZe, man.
Yes!
Feels FaZe.
I love this game. And then he just needs Scoom as well. Oh, come on, boys. Show them what you've got. Montage time. I know FaZe are good on YouTube for all the clips and highlights they do, but this is just incredible. You can't drive by a man in a shack. It's illegal.
It's got into the next kind of issue that you have NIP knocking at your door for sure, but you know that rotation made me have some deep joyous feelings. That's all I know right now.
You know what though? Look at everyone else that was there. Unity have to go up against Winstrike. You've got Vitality who are just bleeding out in the blue and they've got problems of their own to shooting range. Yes, they have NIP to deal with, but they've been taking points on the rotation to this and they're in a decent position. Again, you have NIP to deal with. That's the biggest issue.
Okay, all right, let's look back at the East, because you said the emergency plan of some of these teams was going to be that shooting range, and it has been Vitality, Unity, Winstrike, the Knights all very much over towards that side, and I think that was Vitality eliminated. It was a lot of pressure coming in from Team Liquid, who are still somehow holding this one, or at least some of them. 2 players already peeled off towards the hillside. Shiv on the play, catching off Gaxi, didn't expect him in the grass, in the fields, and FaZe now feeling the pressure. Not able to stand up anymore. The rotation was perfection, but once they found their destination, it didn't go so good.
Uber's still alive and kicking. Credit to the man, staying alive and bypassing Reciprocity and NIP. NIP now fixated onto the last player, being Shiv. The Frenchman might make his last stand between these rocks. I don't know how much further you can go. If he's got a sniper, which you would say no, in the minute. Another different angle, Miraku, yeah. Job done, puts him in the grave. 12th position for Rec. Rather unfortunate. NIP continue onwards. Rory finds G2 at the backside. Instantly yoinked from out of his hands. That's a point going to DA. Still, the circle is fixated on that downed plane in the middle. G2 is confirmed dead. Wookie and Gustav working on Udyr and Chris. Bye-bye, fellas, for now. It's been a great day for them, but they will end here. Shooting range again. Oh, these players. Orange is the last man standing for Unity. Samti's actually standing back. We need to check in with that shooting range because it's all about to kick off. Samti's up against the wall and basically just feeding back the information to Jempty and Jeems uphill.
It's such a nasty angle to work with as well, because Winstrike have a timer. Samti could be such a big spoiler to this. I don't, you know, again, this is that theory, right? It's like we say this. Exactly, like he can be such a nuisance.
For a long time.
I wonder how much he's going to get away with here. DA looking to try and set up on this hillside as well. Samti biding his time. Please, let's see. Samti, he's gone down. He did get instantly found by Nookie. That was a not going to flush real quick. And now, Unity did go down. I thought they could have maybe had a good shot here at jumping up a little bit, but TSM now in the fight with DA. DA have the high ground, and TSM are being held back by the blue. The nade is very good. Wookie feeling a little worse for wear, having to step out on this one. Winstrike being kept humble by the rest of Liquid, avenging their fallen teammate.
Really nice little sidestep forward rather than going back. Managed to keep him alive, gets the heal off as well. Dodges 1 grenade, 2, now 3. They are going to be exposed though. They're outside of the zone. They have to move towards the white, which they are slowly but surely doing. Gustav gets knocked in the back line. Squeaky down. Nookie down. Rory down. Gustav confirmed. At least gets a nade off before he does. That gives now an opening for the rest of his team. Smokes are up. They'll try and get this revived. They do disengage from it and they just wait for Wookie to make his approach. Yeah,
and he's having to do so. You can see him pulling up there. He's looking for a way forward, but there he goes. A beautiful death does well to land that, but he's lost his 2 teammates in the process. I don't think there's time for the revive here. I'm not 100% sure how close or how far they can kind of crawl in on this one, but Winstrike have made their exit from the shooting range. I think you're down to 2, but They're trying to hold on to this, but Jeeps, oh, the dink is so good.
That's a pre-fire.
Nice shot from Tixu, preempting the peak from Jeems. He's finding a deeper angle on it too. Jeems is in danger. This is not bad from Tixu, but now he needs to land the shots, and he does. What a play. Speed, precision, perfection from Tixu as the two feral players from Winstrike try and work their way forward from the shooting range.
It was just how preemptive it was to shoot it as soon as he thinks, you know what, he'll have a peek for this one. Speaking of peeking, Gemsy's got to do the same. Damages up one and forces the engagements on the other. Will fall back because the grenade's there. It's a difficult one to go for the res because your teammate's essentially been used to bait you into this fight. He says, no, Jimbo, it's been nice knowing you, but you now basically just be my eyes and ears. Look for people who are coming my way and I will run away and try and keep going further afield.
And CrowCrowd, huge game for them, but VOD has something to say about the matter, clearly. He worked his way forward while MBS and Miraku were taking a lot of the attention, but Tab and Senpai are ready to fight back here. The bleed out comes in, not surprising, it's gonna happen. MBS falls, and this is the battle with CrowCrowd and NIP. I was just talking about you here, cracking off in the distance. Drayden's just looking. Sees nothing.
If these players are outside, they will have to move eventually. I don't think that damage came his way, but now he's weak, Drayden. Will finish off. NIP are gone in the background. That's CrowCrowd doing the job for them. 2 points, Vard and Miracle fall simultaneously.
And also, look at the teams who have 4 alive here. You have the Knights and you have CrowCrowd. They're the two who can really do damage. The Knights are still in the north, and they're currently the ones kind of trying to fight against Winstrike. A dangerous battle to be taken after you saw what Tixu did, but this should be a pickup here. Tixu's trying to do the dance, but it's the deck and he goes down. That's the Knights getting 6 kills. This is good for them. This is very good.
CrowCrowd, Knights, DA.
CrowCrowd is spreading out. Look at Set, look at Kemba. They've pushed out incredibly far. Beautiful death out in the open, gets punished by Senpai, and I'm a bit worried about Set and Kemba's positions here. And that's why.
Still going.
Yeah, that's not a good play. They pushed out on their own. They had no information on this side. Uber might go down for it, but for the bigger loss here is with CrowCrowd. They had 4 players standing there, loads of information. Trifley's over there as well. I'm not sure how I feel about this one.
We were talking about this last week, how they're their own worst enemy. When it gets to these points, they split off into single individual battles, and they end up losing them, and it continues. Look at that. 2 players just wandering off willy-nilly, dying for no reason, when they had central position and they could have kept 4 together. It's just not good.
It's not the time.
It's not good teamwork. You should have an IGL who's driving this roster to stay together. Keep them together as a unit. It's annoying because we see so much potential in them. As individual players, they're good, but their composition working together as a team is bad.
Yeah, that was just poor choices for me. I wouldn't mind if they'd all gone on that, you know, Western sweep a little later game. Fine, you got to do it eventually. If you've got the 4 players, utilize it. Now, that was not the timing. That was never going to be the timing. Not with that many players are left alive. Now, the Knights out in the east kind of working as a pack animal, just, you know, working around, looking for the next meal. You've got Uber in the north, Gemty in the middle, and then Senpai and Tab out to the west. So plenty of snakes to find. And let's see if these boys can maybe claim a skin or 2 here.
This is exactly what we're talking about. Look at how the Knights are moving. They've got 1 player in the middle and then just 3 bodyguards around him. Protect the MVP, basically. They're locking this down. They're sweeping as a team. They're not just sending 1 guy off to fall victim to a snake in the grass. Even if that does happen, because you've got your teammates there, you can refrag. You come off the back of it, get the res. Easy pickings.
You're just playing odds, right? Like, there's always a chance you could get 1v4'd. We saw the 1v3 from, who was it, MBS? Yep. I mean, it can happen. You peak 1 by 1, sure. Even if you are that close together, then it becomes very, very minute play. But you try and hedge your bets to make that not happen. Now, they are taking the low ground run. That is always going to be dangerous, because there is a chance someone's going to peek that ridgeline. It's unlikely at this point, just purely because you're down to these last couple of players. But Senpai and Tab might get a glimpse, but they are actually occluding it. This is good from the Knights, moving around as that pack in the north. It's on enough of a dip they can't see it. Let's see how much damage Uber can do. He managed to punish the CrowCrowd player that pushed forward. Uber's going to hear these steps now, turns around, level 3 backpack pretty high up, and I think that's a nade. And I think Uber might be done for. That's a flashbang, and he is blinded, going to do the old flashbang dance. peeks out, sprays. He does get one. The trade is there. Snark goes down, but he should be revived. Pressure does come through, but who's that from? That's Tab, that's Senpai. But the rest of the Knights can keep the fire up towards them, and this hillside will keep them safe.
Grenades up and over. Pins pulled. No damage done. Circle favourable for the Knights for the simple fact they can just dip down low. Jempty just sitting in a bush with his scar.
Bush Wookie. Not actual Wookie, but Bush Wookie.
Come to me, players.
Now let's look at this ground, because CrowCrowd might walk right in towards Jempty, if I'm honest. He could be the middle point, and Drayden is right behind him. Jempty.
Check it.
He's probably going to wait on the... They might hold this for a little bit longer, because that's a little hillside they have to clear out. Well, they might just do it themselves. That's the next part of the plan. Again, working back towards the east. They already went this way, but you never know. Teams might have rotated that side. So, again, just going through the motions. They know what was there. They know the previous lay of the land.
6 kills and a 3rd placement. He's done more than enough as the lad. This comes off the back of disengaging, leaving Jimbo to bleed out. Oh, Winstrike back and make it into the top 3. Knights, all the ARs are out. They're looking for this close combat situation that will appear. They've kind of, you talk about mirror image, CrowCrowd have done the same rotate. As you know what? Liquid could get second here quite easily.
They really could.
Very easily.
Well, Jempty just joins in on the fact. You will see what the bloodbath is like. Nade comes out. You gotta be ready for this, because they're gonna peek that ridgeline. That's the one nade on Tab now gone through. They've spotted them out. They know where they are. And you can see the Knights now responding accordingly, maybe trying to lean a little bit more central to ensure that they can't disengage and move down that hillside. But CrowCrowd lay prone, waiting for the peak on that ridge.
They'll instantly hop back to the sniper rifles and the DMRs. See if they can just see any head bobbing and weaving in the distance.
Oh, Jempty gets spotted. There he goes. And now we are down to a 4v2. Senpai and Tab doing what they can. The nade is good, but the shot from Tab is better. Trade available. Senpai now called upon to go big. A 1v2 situation. It's possible. It's not easy, but can he do it? Fire comes in. He leans. He tries to get the tag on Snark. Wanted starts to split the attention. He's moved back. This is nice from him. Senpai's playing well in this situation. One smoke. And I'm worried that these guys don't realize that he's readjusted accordingly. I'm worried that he might be able to get a 1v1 out of this. He's going to smoke up, bit of a fake smoke, put him off the scent. And now we wait. They've gone for the revive, it looks like. Maybe just trying to get numbers back on the field. Senpai doesn't have that luxury.
Going for the res suggests that they're scared. Not necessarily scared, but certainly worried. Real's no helmet, healed up. 3 versus 1 continues. This Wanted was the issue for him.
41 bullets is all he's got, and yeah, Wanted should be able to provide a lot here. That smoke can only keep him distracted for so long. Tab needs to find this information, needs to crawl in there and maybe get the attention of one, and maybe there could be a trade. And it looks like the Knights have taken the advantage while it was there. They have good circle position. You got Wanted and Reels slap bang in the way of Senpai, and he can only prone for so long. You can see Reels step by step, checking all the deepest angles that there could be. And I think Senpai knows his days are numbered. The Blues on the move, but it's Snark to find him, and 10 kills. And the Knights finally get a real good game under their belt here.
Coming to this game, they were 14 points behind the money bracket. Kills and a win in the bag. It's a 10-plus game easily, double digits, but NIP, who was holding that 8th position, also didn't have too much of a bad game. FaZe just managed to meme it through to the top 5, which is incredible. Fair play. Na'Vi, not so much of a good game. Reciprocity kind of got battered on arrival, as we saw with the same, basically just